Confucius's name was actually Kung, but his disciples referred to him as Kung Fu Tse, but missionaries from the West Latinized his name to Confucius. He was born the youngest of a family of 11 children to an aristocratic family who had lost their position and wealth. His father was supposedly a great warrior of tremendous strength and size, who was in his 70s when Confucius was conceived, but he died before Confucius reached the age of 3. A setback to Confucius was that he grew up in poverty, but he was still able to receive a good education. While Confucius was in his teens, he took on the job of a minor government position. At that time, he married a woman and sired a son, but the whole thing ended in divorce. When his mother died, he was in his 20s, he declared himself a teacher. He taught history, poetry, government, propriety, music, and divination, which are the traditional 6 disciplines. Confucius became one of the great teachers of history, but what he really wanted is to be in public office. He was very confident in his ability to reorder society for the better. According to legend, at the age of 50, Confucius rose to the rank of Minister of Public Works to Minister of Justice, and finally to Prime Minister. He had the ideal government, but Confucius had many enemies that conspired against him, so he was forced to resign from office at the age of 55. Scholarly speculation has assumed that the contemporary rulers feared Confucius's openness and integrity to appoint him a position involving power. Confucius then wandered with a few of his disciples for the next 12 years. He was jeered at a lot and was even put in jail for a time. He was then given the position to be the advisor to the Duke of Ai at the age of 67. Throughout the next several years, he compiled some of the classic Chinese texts. He died at the age of 72 in 479 BC. Confucius was not only a wise man, but he was also incorruptible and a very human-hearted man. Li, which means social propriety, is the greatest principle of living. Society will run more smoothly when it runs on Li. The embodiment of Confucius's ideal society was based around the 5 relationships, which are kindness to the father, filial piety to the son, gentility in the eldest brother, humility and respect in the younger brother, righteous behavior in the husband, obedience in the wife, humane consideration in elders, difference in juniors, benevolence in rulers, and loyalty in ministers and subjects. The middle way in all things may also be referred to as Li. Just as Li is to the outward ideals of man, Zhen, which is goodness, humaneness, and love, was to the inner ideals of man. Confucius taught that men should practice respect and courtesy and to love each other. If Li and Zhen were used a lot in a person, the said person would meet the ideal Confucian goal, which is the superior man. Confucius believed in the possibility of man being perfected, or at least natural goodness. Confucius stressed by government by virtue, which is Ti, and the arts of peace, which are Wen. Another important aspect of Confucianism is Yi, which literally means justice and righteousness, and is a very important concept in Confucianism. It literally refers to the moral disposition to do good. Ren is another important aspect of Confucianism. His best student, Yan Hui, asked Confucius to describe Ren to him, and Confucius responded by saying, "One should see nothing improper, do nothing improper, hear nothing improper, and one should not say something improper." These were the fundamentals of Confucianism. Confucius did not think of himself as the originator, but as the translator of social values and wisdom. Confucianism doesn't claim any holy texts or scriptures, but the 5 classics and 4 books are known as the touchstone of Confucian wisdom and conduct. Mencius and Sun Tzu spread Confucianism very much in the 3rd and 4th centuries BC, and did much to popularize and spread his teachings. During the Han Dynasty, there was a cult developed in the name of Confucius. There was a temple to honor Confucius in every prefecture in China in the 6th century AD. In 1503, the Confucian cult had a change by replacing all the portraits of Confucius with wooden tablets inscribed with his teachings. From then on, the title of Confucius was dropped, but he was referred to as Master Kung, the perfect teacher of antiquity. In 1906, there was an attempt to revive the Confucian cult, but the efforts were not allowed because of the birth of the People's Republic of China, and all religious sacrifices were officially abandoned.